This isn't your average ghosting story. These are tales of dates who haunt you, matches that hunt you, and love letters written in blood. So grab your pepper spray, lock your doors, and remember, the most terrifying thing in your DMs isn't a catfish. It's the one who knows exactly what you want. The perfect match. The way he remembered. Mia had never believed in love at first sight, until Daniel walked into the coffee shop that rainy Tuesday morning. "Vanilla latte with oat milk extra hot?" he'd asked, flashing that lopsided grin as she stood dripping at the counter. When she'd stared in surprise, he'd added, "You came in last Thursday. You were wearing a yellow sweater and arguing with your sister on the phone about wedding invitations." No one ever remembered her coffee order. The first date. The French bistro was straight out of a dream. Candlelight flickering in antique chandeliers, the faint sound of a jazz piano, the way Daniel's hand found the small of her back as he guided her to their table. "You're nervous," he observed, pouring her a glass of Merlot, her favorite, though she couldn't recall mentioning it. "Don't be. Tonight's just about me proving I'm not an axe murderer." Mia laughed, the tension melting as he told her about growing up in Maine, his fear of deep water, the way his mother's chocolate chip cookie recipe was the only thing he'd saved when she passed. When he kissed her, under the amber glow of a street lamp, his hands cradling her face like something precious, Mia felt something dangerous bloom in her chest. The first morning. Mia woke to sunlight streaming through unfamiliar curtains, her body deliciously sore in places she'd forgotten existed. The sheets smelled like him, cedar and something faintly spicy. Daniel's arm was slung possessively across her waist, his breath warm against her bare shoulder. She shifted slightly and his grip tightened. "5 more minutes," he murmured, his voice rough with sleep. His lips found the sensitive spot behind her ear, and Mia shivered as his hand slid up her ribcage, his thumb brushing the underside of her breast. "You're insatiable," she laughed, turning in his arms. Daniel's answering grin was wolfish. "Only for you." The rainy afternoon. Thunder rattled the windows of Daniel's apartment as Mia traced the tattoo on his forearm, a compass with coordinates she didn't recognize. "Where does this lead?" she asked. Daniel captured her hand, pressing a kiss to her palm. "Nowhere important." The lie should have been a warning, but then he was rolling her beneath him, his mouth hot and insistent as the storm raged outside. Mia arched into him, her nails scraping down his back as he whispered filthy, perfect things against her skin. After, as she lay boneless in his arms, Daniel brushed the hair from her face. "Stay," he said, and it sounded like a vow. The birthday surprise. Mia hadn't celebrated her birthday in years, not since her father left. But Daniel remembered. The bath was drawn when she arrived, scattered with peonies and candles. A single glass of champagne sat on the edge, condensation dripping onto the tile. "How did you—" "I listen," Daniel said, stepping behind her. His hands settled on her hips as he pressed a kiss to the nape of her neck. "Now let me take care of you." He undressed her slowly, his touch reverent. The water was perfectly warm, the bubbles fragrant with lavender. When she sighed, Daniel's lips curved against her shoulder. "Happy birthday, sweetheart." The night everything changed. The notebook fell from his jacket pocket as Mia reached for his keys. "Daniel, you forgot your—" The pages fanned open. Her name, her coffee order, the way she liked to be touched, and at the bottom, in neat block letters, Phase 4, secure engagement, isolate from friends, family. Mia's blood turned to ice. The front door creaked open. Find what you were looking for? Daniel asked softly. The reveal. Mia's fingers trembled as she stared at the notebook's pages her entire life, dissected into neat bullet points. The air in Daniel's apartment turned thick, syrupy with the weight of his deception. Daniel stood in the doorway, his expression unreadable. The man who had memorized the way she took her coffee, who had kissed the scar on her knee like it was something precious, who had whispered, "I love you," against her skin just last night. He was gone. In his place stood a stranger. "It's not what you think," Daniel said, taking a step forward. Mia stumbled back, her hip hitting the edge of the dining table. You studied me." A flicker of something crossed his face. Annoyance? Before his mask slipped back into place. "I cared enough to learn you," he corrected, voice softening into that familiar, honeyed tone. "Isn't that what love is?" Her stomach churned. "Love isn't a script." Daniel sighed, running a hand through his hair, a gesture she now realized was rehearsed. "Mia, sweetheart, let's talk." "Don't call me that!" The words tore from her throat, raw and ragged. For the first time, Daniel's composure cracked. His jaw tightened, his fingers flexing at his sides. "Fine," he said, voice dropping into something colder. "Let's talk facts." The blueprint, the coffee shop, meet cute. Not an accident. He'd been going there for weeks, learning her schedule. The barista paid to slip him her name. The first date, the bistro's playlist, curated with songs from her Spotify. The Merlot, the same bottle she'd Instagrammed last year. "You manufactured us," Mia whispered. Daniel's smile was razor thin. "I perfected us." The escape. Mia ran. Out the door, down the stairs, into the pouring rain. Her phone buzzed. A text. "Missing you already. Come home." She blocked him, changed her number, moved across town. The new neighbor. Mia had finally stopped looking over her shoulder. 6 months after fleeing Daniel's apartment, she'd moved across the city, changed her name, and sworn off dating apps forever. Her new apartment was smaller, darker, but safe. Then the peonies arrived. A bouquet of blood-red blooms sat at her doorstep, the card embossed with elegant script. "Welcome to the building. Let me make you dinner. Daniel." The end. Like this tale, you are now marked. The dark remembers your eyes. The silence hungers for your screams. And I'll be waiting in the next video. Sleep well, if you can. Subscribe, if you dare.